and welcome to our episode of Mama G's Fabulous Kitchen. Today we are going to cook dal in an instant pot.
Now, this is really easy to make. So for non-Asian speakers, it's just dal is lentils, and we're going to combine two different kind of lentils. We're going to show you that in the ingredients. But dal lentils is a very nutrient-rich food. It's very common in South Asia. Very easy to make, very tasty, and you can eat it as a soup. With rice, with bread, with roti, naan, whatever. It's very versatile food and it's very tasty. Yeah. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into the ingredients. Mom, take it away.
Okay, this is the dals we are going to use. This is the Moong Daal, M-O-N-G. It is usually called a yellow dal. And this is, it cooks very fast. It's mixed with Masoor Daal, M-A-S-O-O-R, Masoor Daal. This is what this looks like.
Okay, what else we got here?
We have dhania powder, which is also cilantro powder or coriander powder.
About 1 teaspoon.
1 teaspoon. And paprika, we have here also 1 teaspoon. Then we have chaat masala, also 1 teaspoon. We have some curry leaves. And we have dhania powder. Dhania powder, yes?
Yep.
Okay. Then we have turmeric powder and black pepper. And salt is here to taste. We will add salt. We'll add about half a teaspoon and then you stir it. And when it starts to cook, you can taste it and add salt as you like.
So once we get all the lentils, we put it into the pot of the Instant Pot. We're going to wash it and I'm going to show you how to wash it real quick. So once we're done washing it, I'm going to show you the one that we use. The one that we use is a Kasuri brand, but they're pretty much identical to Instant Pots. So you can run a little bit of cold water
and
in
just
the
rub
pot
the
and
dal.
just kind of scrub it with your hands. See, it's just a good habit of rinsing the lentils because these are, harvested from a farm. Sometimes they have dust, just small residue, so it's just good practice to wash it or rinse it a couple of times and be done. So 2 or 3 times, rinse it, and then you fill it up with water to the first ring of the index finger is kind of how I like to measure it. So the first or second ring, and Mom, can you kind of show them what I'm talking about? You just kind of put your finger in there and just kind of...
Or you could measure it also with a measuring cup.
Yeah.
This is the ring of the finger. So
if you stick your finger in there and on the flat pot, that's about how much water. I kind of put a ring and a half, like halfway between the first ring and the second ring. But it depends on what kind of consistency you like your dal. If you like it thicker or thinner. So once you do it a couple of times, you kind of get the hang of it. So
you can use a cup also and measure the cup.
Yeah.
Then put
All right,
one
so
cup,
now that it's washed,
1 cup of water you can add.
we're going to cut, and I will show you the settings of the Instant Pot to get this going. We're going to add the ingredients, and we're going to make some dal. Okay, so this is the Kasuri. I think it's the 6-quart or 5.5 quart Instant Pot. It is a slow cooker and a pressure cooker and a bunch of other things in one. So if you're not familiar with it, you can find these online, on Amazon, wherever. There's a bunch of different brands, but they essentially do the same thing. So this is just our washed dal. This thing just goes straight inside, sits in there. And so we're gonna just add our ingredients, and I'm gonna show you the settings that I use on here to get this cooked within like 15 minutes. So Mom, would you please do the honors of dumping all the spices?
Okay, this is, we are adding now cumin powder. Get it all in. Don't want to waste any. This is the paprika, the curry leaves, the chaat masala, black pepper.
And you can add more pepper if you want. I like it spicy, so I probably will end up adding a little bit more.
Turmeric powder. And this is coriander powder, a little bit.
Dhania powder.
Yeah. And then you give it a good stir.
So I also like to add extra curry leaves because I just like the flavor. You don't have to add that many. Again, you can kind of tweak each one of these ingredients to your taste specifically, and you know, just make it whatever suits you the best. So what I also like to do is once this is done cooking, I'm going to show you. I like to add a bunch of spinach in it after the fact, while it's still warm, just because I like kind of a leafy texture in my dal. But you can add all kinds of vegetables. You can add potatoes, gourds. You know, it actually is compatible with a lot, so you can kind of experiment and see, because dal goes very well with a whole bunch of different kind of vegetables. So anything else? Salt? Yep.
Salt, a
We'll
little
put
bit
some
salt. I'm putting a little right now, and we'll taste it later and see. We don't want to put too much salt. You can always add salt, but you can't take it out. It becomes difficult.
So we just mix it up, and it's pretty much done. And now I'm going to show you on the settings here what we're going to do. So it's very easy. You hit manual, right, which is right here. You hit manual because I don't like to use any of the presets here. You can control the temperature and the time. So manual, the pressure is on level 4. You can see the 4 lit LEDs. And then cook time, just hit that, and I bring it down to about 13 minutes, which I have found to be just the right for me. And again, now you may want to go up a couple of minutes or bring it down a couple of minutes, like whatever you want to do. But once you make it once, you'll kind of know how you want to tweak it. Or you just may like it the way I make it and eat it that way. So once you have your settings, you just hit the on button, and that tells you that it's heating up. So once that starts, we're going to take this cover and flip it over, and it's very easy. It's like a locking type. So you can kind of see where it says unlock. You match it with the arrow that's right there. Stick it on there, and you just turn, and that beeping means it's locked. Come back up here to the valve. If you've seen any of our other videos, you've kind of seen the pressure cooker that my mom uses. It has like an old school whistle on it. So you can kind of see on here, it has 2 icons. One is lock, and the other one is, got a shadow. It's not lock, steam. There's a word that I can't think of right now. So you just turn it to the lock position. Oh, lock. So now the pressure will build. This little thing, as it gets pressurized, will rise up. That'll tell you it is pressurized. So essentially now it's on, it's preheating, it's gonna cook the dal. You don't have to do anything. That's it, you just walk away. It'll beep once it's done. And when it is, I'm gonna come back and show you what this is gonna look like and what do you do from there. All right guys, so we're back and this is done. So just a quick note, this timer is now counting upwards from 0. So when this is cooking, you'll notice the numbers are counting down. So we set this originally for 13 minutes and it counts down to 0 to show the cooking time. Once it's done, it starts counting up to indicate how long it's been done, and it's just sitting there warm. So it's been done for about 17 minutes, and we're going to release the pressure by just turning this valve over. You can see there's not much, but still enough left. All that steam comes out. That falls down, means no more pressure, safe to open. So you grab it, beeps, and shake some of that moisture out. And look at that. That smells fantastic. Come here, Mom. So we're gonna stir this up a little bit. Now you can see it's kind of soupy, sort of, right? It's not very thick. Now it's gonna look that way because it's still very hot. When this cools, this thickens up a little bit. So I like my lentils to be like sort of a thick stew, which this will become when it cools. Right now it's a little watery, so it's up to you really. You can kind of experiment. You can let this simmer for a while and reduce it, or you can just let it cool, see how you like the consistency and go for there. And at this point we just kind of taste just to make sure salt and everything is okay. And at this point I actually add like a half container of the spinach because I like the spinach. And what we also like to do is add tamarind. So It's just tamarind concentrate. Now this gives the dal a little bit of a sweet, a little bit of a sour taste, just on the back end, which I really like. So you can experiment with it and try it yourself. So in this 1 cup of mixed lentils, we put about just 1 teaspoon. Not a lot, because a little bit goes a long way. So you just stick it in there, mix it up thoroughly, and it's done. So one last step that we're going to show you, we've got the pan on heat. We add to this what's called a tadka, which is essentially heating up some ghee. Come here.
It's called in English tempering.
It's called tempering in English, according to my mom. So we just heat a pan, add about a tablespoon of clarified butter or ghee. Right, that's
called ghee.
good.
Clarified butter is called ghee.
Let that thing heat up, and we've had this sitting on high for a while, so it should be pretty warm. Well, I did have it on high. And once this is hot enough, and this is, if you've seen any of our other videos, this is exactly the same kind of tempering we do with other stuff. You just heat some oil, add some cumin seeds, right? Just some regular old cumin seeds. Add a couple just to make sure the oil is hot. If they splatter, it's time to put it in. If they're not, like it is right now, it means the oil is not hot enough. So I'm going to come back to this in a second.
Just a minute.
I had this on high and I think Mom turned it down, so it's going to take a second. I'm going to go back and add the spinach to the dal. Kind of stir that in a little bit. You can add as much as you want, because the spinach sort of shrinks in heat and liquid, and it just gives the lentil such a tasty, leafy texture to it. It's really easy. Mom, can you help me with this, because I can't do it one-handed? Take the rest of this out. So you're just gonna add, keep stirring. Did you taste it? Gotta taste it.
Going to.
Gotta make sure it's good. Take it.
It needs more salt.
Yeah. So we usually add it on the low end, because it's easier to add than it is to remove.
Remove it, yeah.
So always use less than what you think would be perfect, because then you can always add more. Everything else was good? Mom?
Sorry?
Everything else fine?
Everything else seems fine, yeah.
Okay.
What do we have to tarka?
So now the
is
oil
hot.
or the ghee in this should be hot enough. We're going to add a couple.
See? Spattering.
See how they're kind of spattering? Kind of bubbly, effervescent, right? So that is indicative that it's hot. So you just add the rest. Leave them in there for maybe 20 seconds.
Yeah.
At most. Stir them around a little bit. You'll know, because it releases a really fragrant, sort of nutty aroma, and you can kind of see how they're getting a little dark. That it doesn't take very long for them to.
And then just toss it in.
And maintain a little distance, because it does do that. So you can just take some, put it back in the pan.
Get all of it out, all the goodness. Oh, it smells so good.
Yeah, it does have a
Let
very,
it simmer
very
a while,
nice,
Faisal,
very
to
good
get
scent.
the consistency. Let it simmer for a few minutes.
I'm probably gonna let this simmer just for a few minutes. Just for a few minutes, just to get a little bit of that water out. And then once it's done here, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna put some in a bowl and kind of show you what it looks like. Presented, ready to eat. So hang tight. All right, guys. So I've been simmering this for about 5 minutes on 220 degrees. So for me, this is like a good consistency. It's just thick enough, because when this, like I said earlier, when this cooled, it's gonna thicken even more. So I think this is done. We're going to plate it and just kind of sprinkle some chaat masala and stuff on it, just to kind of show you what you can do if you want. It's optional, right? You don't have to kind of do it that way, but just a couple of spoons. I think that's good, Mom.
If you
Oh, that looks so good. I might eat some of it right now.
There you go. I shall just wipe the edge clean, and then you garnish it with a little chaat masala. Tastes so good. It's smelling good too. See, like that. And
You
then
can even, if you want,
here,
you can just add a couple of dollops of yogurt on it
Yes.
because it complements it really well. And just eat it plain, or eat it with rice, eat it with bread, eat it with all kinds of stuff. So this is it, guys. Moong and Masoor dal mix in the Instant Pot. Hope you like it.
so that was our recipe for today, the Moong and Masoor dal mixture. It's ready now. I hope you like it. I hope you like it and try to make it and enjoy it with rice and with some pickle or achar. That will be really good.
Or even any kind of bread, naan,
Yeah,
roti.
yeah,
It can go
anything.
with vegetables. You can eat it like a soup or a stew plain also.
Yeah,
So
you can. We do that sometimes. We just eat it with the spoon plain, and especially when it's cold. Tastes really good.
well, hope you like it. Please support us, like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And we'll see you in the next time.
Thank you.